Hello and welcome to my low carb kitchen. Today we're going to be cooking up some. Also, if you want to get notifications when I post videos, just hit the notification bell and you'll get it in your email box. Again, thank you so much for watching my video and enjoying my content. I'm Rabina from Sincerelymrs.griffin. I thank you all for watching this video and just keep watching for the recipe. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks. Okay, so let's jump right into this recipe. Today we're making perfectly crusted tilapia and also some homemade almond milk. We'll start by getting our tilapia out of the bag and disassembled. Put all of your fish into one big mixing bowl because we're going to season all of it together in this big mixing bowl. And we'll call this bowl our wet ingredient bowl, and then we'll have a second bowl that we'll use for our dry ingredients. For the wet ingredients today, I'm just using just a few things. I've got my Goya seasoning here. I'm just thoroughly seasoning each piece of fish. And then I'm also going to add some garlic powder, onion powder. This is the adobo seasoning that I'm using, along with olive oil. Just a very, very simple amount of ingredients in the wet bowl where the fish is at. And now we're going to work on the dry ingredients. This is going to be the crust for the tilapia. This recipe is a keto recipe. It's low carb. The crust is made out of pork rinds. This is going to be 2 cups of pork rinds. I'll process them 1 cup at a time, plus almond flour, plus some other seasonings. This will be our dry ingredient. So what you want to do is pulse in a food processor your pork rinds. Mine could only fit 1 cup of pork rinds in at a time, so that's what I did, 1 cup at a time. Once you have processed each cup, or if your machine can do 2 cups, that's fine. Once you've processed all of that, just set it aside, and then we'll add some more ingredients in a few minutes. If you don't own a food processor, you can also process these pork rinds by putting them in a Ziploc bag and beating them with a meat mallet, or with a rolling pin works too. So now that I have that, what I'm going to do is sift 2 tablespoons of almond flour into the pork rinds. Like I always say, this is why we sift our almond flour. So next we're going to add our seasonings to our pork rind almond flour mix. You'll need black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. You don't want to add salt to this step because the pork rinds are salty enough, so they add that flavor already. And you also seasoned your fish, hopefully with enough seasoning so that it has good flavor too, and you just don't want to over salt everything. So it was bothering me a little bit that my pork rinds were still a little too chunky for my take. So I thought I would try to sift the whole mix, the pork rinds, the almond flour, all the seasonings. I thought I would try to sift all that. You can omit this step if you don't have a sifter, or if you just don't want to take the time to do it. It will still just come out just as delicious if you skip this step. But when I did it, I realized that it just came out so smooth. It was actually like a nice flour. It was more like a Panko crust for the fish. So either way, it will work. That's going to be your dry ingredients, and then your fish already has oil on it, so that's your wet ingredients. So what you'll do is just take piece of fish. I'm just adding a little bit of garlic powder here because I thought it needed more. But you'll take one piece of fish at a time. And actually, the first piece was small, so I ended up just coating both sides and putting it on the cast iron grill on our stove. But the next pieces were pretty big, so I just took my scissors and I cut them in half so I could work with smaller pieces. And then I just breaded each side of them with the mixture and then put it on the grill. Ta-da! So this is how they look when they're on the grill. They are crusted and they look delicious. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes for each one to cook on each side. And one step that I didn't do that I want you guys to do is to put some oil on your grill or some Pam, or maybe use, on the other side of this grill is a flat surface. Maybe try using that portion because these really stuck to this grill and I was not expecting that. So try one of those tips, either oiling your grill or using Pam on there. So here's the final product of the fish. The tilapia came out great, and this is a plate that I made for one of my kids with some white rice. This would be great with cauliflower rice too. All right, now for the almond flour recipe. I have 2 cups of almonds that I soaked overnight, and I just drained them and rinsed them. Put those 2 cups into the blender, and you want to add in 6 cups of filtered water. I'm using my Blendtec blender here, so it's a high-powered blender similar to a Vitamix. And so it really gets the job done. But even though it is high powered, I still had to sift my almond milk after I got done with this process just to get out all the fiber and the pulp, which was fine. So it's 2 cups of soaked almonds. They were soaked overnight, plus 6 cups of water. So you can add in these next 2 ingredients either before you blend or after, but I put in a 4th cup of sweetener. I'm using a erythritol. And then I also put in 2 capfuls of vanilla extract, which probably is the equivalent of 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Here's what the almond milk looked like once we were done blending it. And then I decided to use my sifter. You could also use a cheesecloth to get all your pulp and all your fiber out of there. And here it is, the final product. And I'll store these in the refrigerator. These are good for up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will have more low carb recipes coming in the future.